I use these specific pens during the HSC. However, PTSD. I've been vibing these. I feel like these are the OG of pens. Hey guys, so it's getting to that time of year again. School's going back, uni's going back. It's time to study again. The summer is ending. Well, that's here in Australia at least. If you're in another country, you might already be back at school. But I'm pretty sure because it's just been like a Christmas, New Year break, even though it's not summer in every country, there has been a little bit of a holiday period. But anyway, in Australia, it's nearing the end of our big summer holidays. So I thought I would make this video because I get a lot of requests or messages asking a lot of questions about the HSC. So I thought now is the perfect time to do that. Also, by the way, my hair is wet. It is not greasy. I just had a shower and washed it. So yeah. So I'm about to head off to Officeworks with my dad to just pick up a bunch of stuff, but I do have a lot of stuff around the house that I've, you know, stocked up on in the past or I already have a supply of. So I will just get all the stuff I have all together and explain what I have, why I have it, what I find useful, what types of things I did before my HSC, and that really helps. Obviously, having a great pen or an amazing coloured highlighter isn't going to make you get a 99 ATAR. But I found, going on a little bit of a haul at Officeworks or Kmart, wherever you want to go, and you know, buying the things I need to help me be organised or that I was going to use throughout the year to study, it helped put me in a mindset where I was ready for school, ready to tackle on the new academic year, just ready to do the HSC, and I had enough supplies to study because let me tell you, I used it all. I got through every pen. I used so much ink and so much paper, writing and practicing for my exams. So yeah, I just found it really helpful, mainly for the mindset and organising myself. So I'm gonna go now and get some supplies from Officeworks, and then I'll come back and explain to you all the different things that I find useful. And I made a list of things I found the most helpful to organise myself and prepare myself during my HSC year. So let's go. Daddy, you doing a back to school supply haul?
Oh, no way.
Dad's a teacher, so he's probably gonna like buy stuff.
I'm not buying anything.
We'll see.
I might get some exercise books.
What I did in HSC was, I've explained how I had one binder for each subject, and it was just like the cheapest, ugliest binder because it just was to file away somewhere at home. But I always picked one really nice binder, or maybe two, which was my everyday binder that I always took to school. So I'm gonna pick one that I actually like, and it's a good size, and it's a nice color, and feels like good quality. Okay, no, don't get the llamas. Oh my god, stop. This is so cute. No, stop. Oh my god, I love llama. What's with llamas being in fashion these days? I love it. Oh, stop. No, I'm getting the llama one instead of the normal one. What? I was about to get this, but then I saw no. Yes. Where? Oh, that's nice. Dad, I don't know what colour to get, so can you pick one for me? You just pick. Okay, thank you. I am back from Officeworks. I'm trying to work out the best way to do this because I have my study space set up outside my room now, so I'm thinking of taking us all there to go through it. I went to Officeworks right before starting HSC, and that got me in such a like, yes, ready for this mindset. You see things that like inspire you, like study planners. You don't have to buy them. You can just like go home and make your own, but it's kind of just like a great way to get into the mindset. Actually, one of the very first things I got was a shelf from IKEA. I've explained this in my original HSC video when I explained that having like an organized space and organizing your things is important. I went to IKEA and I got this shelf with those squares because it was like the perfect space and size to organize my binders in my room. And I've moved to downstairs since then, but my room upstairs I had a desk and my own study area, so I kept my binders all organized there, and then I kept my desk really nice and just a nice study space. One of my tips is making sure you've got a space where you can store your things, study, keep it nice and organized. Now that I moved downstairs, I don't have enough room in my room for a desk. So I set up we call it our computer room. Basically, it was like a junk room. I cleaned that up and set up a desk, and that's like my study room now. To be honest, I study mostly at the library at uni, but I do think it's good having a space. When I was in HSC, I studied mostly at home. Like I stayed at home and studied because then I was like, I'm saving so much time, which would be travel time. But if you find going out and going to a library, just getting outside of your house better, do that, like 100%. Now that I'm at uni, I prefer to study when I'm at uni and like make home like time to chill out. But during HSC, all of it's HSC time. So I'm going to show you my new study space and then talk you through the things I got just then. Welcome to the study space. How cute is the koala on that? I love koalas.
Beautiful. Oh, it's okay for me to walk up.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to have to unhook the camera really quick to show you this area, because this is like the desk setup. This is kind of just the chuck everything there setup, but in an organized way. Okay, so this is the desk setup. I got my little blanket because it gets cold in here. So I have all my like current subject binders, pencil cases, computer, pens and pencils and stuff like that. Here is like, they're actually some of my training diaries, but like diaries. And then this drawer here that's kind of open has a whole bunch of supplies, which I'm going to go through now. But yeah, this is basically my study area. You know, you can stick notes up and calendars and just like keep it organized. Yeah, make it your space. Okay, so now to go through the stuff that I actually keep in my space. I think we're a bit wonkated right now. So making sure you have a good space at home is so helpful just to keep organized. I feel like if your stuff's organized, the amount of times I say organized in this video, I'm probably going to cringe so hard when I edit it. I feel like when you are organized, your mind is organized, and then, you know, when your space is organized, you can be organized, and then that's the way to stop being stressed, you know, staying on top of things, being prepared. So enough rambling. Here is my back to school haul and the things that I recommend are really helpful for preparing for the new school year. Binders. I've explained many times before how helpful I found following this binder system to stay organized. I think you just got to go for the color that calls you, and I was just feeling like this pink one. What I recommend is getting 1 or 2 binders that are going to be your everyday binder, and that's a binder that you take to school every day. In that binder, you keep all your work that you need to take to school each day, and you know, when your teacher gives you worksheets, you can keep that all in your binder. You probably have 5 subjects in the HSC. You may have more. To keep all those 5 subjects organized, you'll have a section for each subject. So it's really good to get dividers for each subject. So I got the llama ones, tab dividers. So it comes in a pack of 5, so 5 subjects is perfect. I definitely recommend getting plastic ones because I had paper ones in the past. They would just break after turning it so often. These aren't even plastic ones. Wow. They're like a hard cardboard. I don't really mind. I kind of really just got them to explain that they're a good buy. But definitely I'd recommend getting plastic ones. But what is it with llamas? Why are llamas like in right now? Oh my gosh, and the things that kids were writing at Officeworks, just like with the pens and stuff. I got these 2 binders as my like everyday binder, which I can take to uni. I'll only be taking 1, but I just got 2 in case because they're different sizes. You know, I might start taking one and being like, this is too small and I want a bigger one. So with your everyday binder, you can put in your subject dividers. Mum, do you like it? I got llama
Oh, yeah.
There were so many llama things.
I know.
They're in fashion right now.
I know.
The next thing I got was hole puncher. So the only place I've ever found that I can get these from is Officeworks. Probably you can get them from eBay because everything's on eBay. These are amazing. So I always keep one in the front of my binder. Then when you get worksheets from your teacher, hole punch it, stick it in, and you can file it into your binder. There we go. Another thing I did was keep loose leaf pages in my binder. During HSC, you got to kind of trial and error and see what things work for you. So I tried both using loose leaf pieces of paper and binder books. I ended up not liking using binder books throughout the year. I ended up using these for studying. You've probably seen my Bibles. I'll whip it out in a second. But I use my Bibles to study. So I use these for studying, like, you know, writing out essays, writing out all of my notes. But throughout the year, I would keep loose leaf paper in my binder and that's what I would write on. And then I'd also be typing. That's another thing. Having a good computer was a lifesaver. When I was in year 10, I got a Mac. And that lasted me for 5 years. I just recently got a new one for uni. I found it very helpful, like having a good computer. It doesn't have to be a Mac, like if you prefer a different type of computer, but not to be a basic brand bitch, but Macs I just found were amazing. Like they were very easy to use, really good, and I've tried using like really cheap dodgy ones before in earlier years and it wasn't good. So the other thing I get besides a nice binder is heaps of just the cheapest one you can get, and I just get these, like I'm pretty sure they're like 90-cent ones, just the cheapest ones you can find, and I just get a bunch of those. What I would do for HSC is I got one for each subject or two for each subject, and then what I would do is, so you have your everyday binder, you take that to school, but then when you're done with that everyday binder, the work in that file for your subject you take out and you offload into your subject binder. So getting out an example, here is my PDHPE, one of my offloaded binders. Let's say I had one binder for each of my subjects. Then when I was done with the work that was in my everyday binder, I would put it into my binder for that subject. And I kept it nice and organized by having sticky notes which had the topic that we were doing. So for example, if you do PE, you might recognize, this is so awkward. So I have critical question 1, training, and the dot points there. And then I had all my work there. Then it goes critical question 2. So it was just organized and all in one space. So having binders to offload your work for each subject is another thing to get. Now that I'm at uni though, and I've kind of, you know, refined what I find works best for me, I don't like offload work. It's kind of different at uni, obviously. What I do is I type all my notes up and then print those out, and I keep my notes. Oh, summaries. So that's another thing. In school, making sure you stay on top of summaries is so important. That's all type of things that you type. So if you type up summaries, then print them off, hole punch them, and file them in your binder so you've got all your summaries and notes ready for when you need to study. Then when it comes to studying, getting binder books and then making Bibles or just writing notes, the best way for you is what I recommend. Even though these are what I use during HSC, I've been vibing these ones because it's so amazing being able to fold it and flip and have a new page instead of, I'm going to show you my PE Bible. It got so annoying when it was like, it's almost 200 pages. You know, there's the crease in the middle and it was just so annoying. And then one side, like I loved when it was on this side, but then when it's on this side, it was so annoying to write on. So definitely I am vibing these ones now because you can fold it so much better. But when it comes to exams and you have all your notes filed in your binders, using these binder books, it's just nice to have it in binder format because you can file it away in binders. I also made study binders. So when I was studying, I would get all the important bits out of my offloaded binders with, you know, maybe questions I'd answered and written out and notes and stuff, and I'd put them in a kind of study binder where I could put my Bibles and other things in as well. In these study binders, I also have lots of past papers. For example, this is a PE past trial paper. So lots of past papers and stuff like that. So in your study binder, having these books, whichever type you like, these ones are better, and then writing all your notes from all the work that you've offloaded. That's just the best way to organize it, I find. Oh, finally. Alright, so this just took me 5,000 years to find. In the front of my binder that I took to school, I would keep a to-do list. So I would get a typo and get a cute little list that said like making lists or something like that. But then I found it was just cheaper to go and get a like $1 notepad from a $2 store. And what I did is keep a notepad in the front of my book. Whenever we got homework or I had stuff to get done, I would write it down. Whenever it would be done, I would cross it off. Yeah, that would just stay in the front of my binder, so I was always aware of what I had to get done and if I was on top of everything. Okay, I've lost my list of things that I had to include in this. I'm just gonna hope I don't miss things and just I'm already so unorganized, not as a person but for this video. So that's kind of like binders, books, keeping that area organized. I also had plastic sleeves just to keep important things in your binder. Another thing is sticky notes. Having sticky notes is just a great way to, you know, mark what's important. Or what I would do sometimes, for example in maths, I would sticky note on pages where I needed help with a question. So now I'm just going to go through a bunch of like little bits and bobs that you got to get. Obviously pens and pencils and all of that jazz. When I did HSC, I literally included this in my very first HSC video. I had a specific pen that I used. So these Papermate pens were the ones I was obsessed with during HSC. I know this is going to sound so stupid, but like I wanted to get a pen that was comfortable because I was writing so much and also was black. My PE teacher, I remember she said to our class, get in the habit of only using black pens because you're only allowed to use black pens for the HSC. And now I don't like using black pens. But these pens are called like Kilometrico or something. I'm just reading the pen. But I remember on the packet it said something like each pen writes over a kilometer. So I remember being like, I've written like 50 kilometers. I use these specific pens during the HSC. However, PTSD. I've been vibing these. I just got these classic 4-way. I feel like these are the OG of pens. Really random, but like my favorite lecturer used these and I just found it really satisfying the way he like did that and then changed colors. And he was really calm and he's the best lecturer, and so I started wanting to use these, and yeah, so I got 2 of those. And then I also got another one that was like metallic pink because YOLO, why not? I also treated myself to one of those really expensive pens because I just, you know when you try out pens and you're like, whoa, why does this feel beautiful? It felt amazing, and I was like, treat yourself. So I got myself one really nice pen, but like they're a rip-off obviously. If it's gonna get you a 99 ATAR, then get a comfy pen. I just got some pencils because they looked really sharp and fresh. I splurged and got a few with rubbers on the end, but you know, got some highlighters. So highlighters are a really important thing. If you've looked at any of my notes and I've talked about making things meaningful and colorful, using colorful highlighters is so important. So I just picked a few that I liked the colors of, but I already have plenty at home, so I didn't like go crazy. I just got some that were like really pretty. You know when you have your highlighters at home that are like your pretty highlighters and you like use them when you're like, you think your work's deserving. Obviously having a pencil case is so important. I got this pencil case from Typo because Hogwarts obviously. Also it was a perfect little size, like it's such a nice size to like carry around. It's like a trek to have a huge ass pencil case because like you're already going to be weighed down with binders and books and stuff. So I have this bigger pencil case that I just keep in my study area at home, but when I go out I just have my pencil case with what I need in it. So I don't take like a glue stick or a ruler or stuff like that normally. Just in my pencil case at home, just heaps of random stuff. In my normal pencil case I'll just have, you know, a couple of highlighters, pens, pencils, rubber, sharpener, just the basics. I also always keep a USB. So what I do is when I have all my notes on my computer, save them all to a USB and delete them off my computer if your computer doesn't have enough space. If it's got a lot of space, I would keep it on my computer because like that's stressful. Having a USB is a really great way to just keep all your stuff, except don't lose pens, pencils, highlighter in there. I was not a whiteout person. Cross it out if it's wrong. Your notes are for you to learn. Like obviously I like making them pretty, but like don't be like OCD on them. So I also have plenty of calculators in stock. Always having a spare for exams is so important. If you do maths, obviously you need a calculator. Making sure you have a binder book that's a maths binder book, that's important too. And the last thing I can think of right now, getting a 2020 diary. So I got this from Typo on Boxing Day because it was half price. I always wait till like a month into the year because then it's cheaper. Getting a nice diary that you can use. Honestly, I didn't really use a diary that much because I'd keep a note in my binder with like a to-do list, and I'd keep notes on my computer, which I looked at more often than having a book that was like shut. But it is nice to try and keep organized and, you know, write out due dates or like birthdays or like events. So I like how this binder's laid out as well. I mean binder. This diary. Coming! Okay, my mom called me for dinner and I'm hungry, so I am back. I just had the mintest feed for dinner. It was so lit. Salmon, potatoes, cauliflower. So good. There was one last thing that I found. Flashcards. So flashcards are another way that you can study if you don't find Bibles or like writing in books helpful, and I have used them before. I prefer books, but they are still a good way to study, especially for like writing little notes that you stick on your wall. And some people like to do the whole writing a question and answer in the back, so that's a good way to study, especially if you get the train. If you get the train, which I did, trying to learn something each day on the train or just memorize something each day is so helpful, because if you think about that, like one trip there and back, the amount you can learn in a week that you wouldn't be learning if you were just on your phone on the train is so good. So utilize that time. They come and go, they come and go. I also have this laptop case I got from eBay. eBay is so good. This is like my sacred pen now. Getting skinny highlighters is good for fitting in a pencil case. So here's my stocked up pencil case, which I'll keep at home for when my everyday pencil case gets low on supplies. I always take an apple as a snack to uni, and then I always just put the sticker in my calculator, so either I eat a lot of apples or I study a lot. Being organized is so nice. Like I just want to sit here and like plan my life. Another thing I recommend is don't buy like a study planner because they're so expensive. Type up like a table, because then you can format it in however you like it. And what I did in school was type up like a timetable for each week, and then I'd stick it to the front of my binder. I'd stick photos on the front of my binder too, because, you know, being all cute and shit, but... So I keep all my exercise books on this shelf, and then when it gets time to study or run exams, I whip it out. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you're motivated for a new school year and ready to go get organized and prepared. I keep finding more things. This is another thing I used. These little paperclip things. But what I actually found way better was just stapling my notes. I just print off my notes and staple it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, please. And I will see you in the next one.